Hi friends, greetings to all of you. I hope you all are doing good and preparing well and enjoying these revision sessions. Today we are in the last chapter of ISCA, that's chapter number 8, Emerging Technologies, which is a very interesting chapter and favorite to most of the people. We have successfully completed all the 7 chapters before it, and I hope you have done the revision well. And this chapter we are going to complete in around 3 to 4 videos, and you can get this PDF which concises the entire chapter in just 18 pages. You can purchase the individual PDF. The link is given in the description box, and also you can take the entire book for your last day revision. And once this is done, the entire revision of ISCA will be completed, and I request you all people to start studying the practice manual once again and take up the new one which has been uploaded on the website, so that you can get the latest edition with the updated question answers. So without much delay, let's get started with the chapter number 8, Emerging Technologies. So friends, in chapter number 8, Emerging Technologies, what are we going to cover? We are going to cover what is meant by grid computing and cloud computing, and know what are the similarity and differences with them. Then what is the goals of cloud computing and also cloud computing architecture. Then we are going to see the different types of cloud, like public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, right? And then we are going to see the cloud computing service models like software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and then we are going to see other cloud computing models which are very much important. Then we are also going to see what are the characteristics of cloud computing, then advantages of cloud computing, then other topic like mobile computing, what are its components and issues in mobile computing, and then we are going to understand about green accounting or green IT development. Then we are also going to see bring your own device policy, what are the threat which we are having with bring your own device. Then also we are going to observe a few new concepts like web 2.0 and web 3.0, and how is they useful, and how they can be utilized, how they are helping us, and what are the components of those web 2.0 and 3.0. And then we will conclude this chapter. With this, the revision of chapter 8 will be done, and entire thing you can study in just 18 pages before examination. So without much delay now, let's get started by understanding what is meant by grid computing. So friends, let us try to understand what is grid computing and cloud computing. Grid computing, you can generally understand that in the organizations which uses the IT resources, most of the resources are underutilized, means they are not utilized to the full capacity, and the organization may not be operating to the complete extent. So they are underutilized, and but that capacity may be utilized for some other operations. So the grid computing helps us to make use of such unutilized computing power by the needy organization, means people who have excess of capacity who are not utilizing may source it out to those organizations which need that. So the idea of grid computing is to help within a network, form a network of computing and or processor machines, so that they are managed with a kind of software called as middleware, and give access to use those resources remotely to another organization. So grid computing is a network of computing or processor machine managed with a kind of software such as middleware in order to access and use the resources remotely. The managing activity of the grid resource is done by software called middleware. So middleware manages how the systems are empty, where which capacity is more, and who is requiring it. It will match the requirement with the resources so that they can use it, so that they can use the unutilized capacity. So grid services provide access to what? Control, security, access to data including digital libraries and databases, and access large scale interactive and long term storage facility. So this middleware acts as a main middleman to have these unutilized resources being utilized by the needy organizations. So why it is so popular? Because the unutilized power is being given to those who require it, and it earns the income for the company for providing such unutilized capacities. And those organizations who are buying those capacities need not invest hugely in the infrastructure development. Therefore the popularity is because ability to make use of the unused computing power, and enables the heterogeneous resources of computers to work cooperatively. Heterogeneous because many organizations use different kind of resources, right? So all they are integrated to be used in one manner. Then what is cloud computing? Cloud computing simply means the use of a computer resources as a service through network, typically the internet. Means you are trying to use the computing resources with the help of internet. So cloud computing is both a combination of hardware and a software based computing resource delivered as a shared network service. This model of IT will help to get anytime access to a shared pool of applications. Means the applications or software which is being developed, it is being kept at one place where with the help of internet you can access it. You can take any software generated like PDF converters. They're available online, so you can convert any PDF to Word or Word to PDF. You can do those transactions. So the services are present in the cloud, called with the help of internet. They are being used. Then with cloud computing, what can happen? The organizations who want to use that untapped, unused resources can easily access it and have massive capabilities to use the resources without need to invest in the infrastructure. Means the company need not invest, buy new equipment, need not hire any trainer for training their personnel. So without incurring these extra costs, it can easily increase its capacity by using the available resources. Then the cloud computing is for benefit for whom? Small and medium sized business systems, because it can store even small quantity of data. Grid computing is beneficial for the organization which has a large amount of data. But small and medium sized business system, the cloud computing will be very easy and is very helpful also. So and the other benefit is that the customers will pay only for what they want, means what they use over the cloud, that is what is being charged for. And even the service providers will be very happy because their unutilized capacity is being now utilized. Then cloud computing versus grid computing. What is the similarity and differences? First thing is that both are scalable, means both can increase its capacity at required time. Then both computing types involve multi-tenancy and multitasking, means both of them can do more than one operation at a time. And that means if a customer is performing certain tasks, he can even access another application within the same time. He need not wait for the task to complete so as to access the application. Application means software which is being used. Then storage compute in storage wise, grid has is more suitable for data intensive operations. It can store huge data, but it can't store it is not suitable to have a grid computing for small storage. But cloud computing, you can store data as low as 1 byte and as large as 5 GB. Therefore the for small purposes or things which require small storage or smaller storage capacity, the cloud computing can be taken. But for the large one or intense operations, you require grid computing. Then a computational grid focuses on computation intensive operation, while cloud focuses on standard and high CPU. So grid is useful for those operations which are computationally that include high amount of transactions or high computing skills. But cloud computing can be done in two stages. One thing is standard level and one thing is high CPU. This is the difference between cloud and grid computing. Then comes goals of cloud computing. The core goals, what are the factors within which you have started this cloud based IT ecosystem are, is to pool available resources together into highly efficient infrastructure. So what is the main goal of getting the cloud based IT ecosystem? Is to all the efficient infrastructure are pooled together and made available and aligned with resources, so that they can make the service available to any person anytime and anywhere. Then what are the goals? Let us understand the goals of cloud computing. So what is the goals of cloud computing? First thing, we are here the concept is completely this cloud computing or grid computing is mainly focusing on utilizing the unutilized resources, right? So the goals are to create a highly efficient IT ecosystem, because you are using several things together. The system must be efficient, where resources are pooled together and costs are aligned with resources what actually used. You have just seen that in the cloud computing or grid computing also, the service receiver or the person who is utilizing that resources will pay for what is actually used. Therefore, the one of the goals is to create a highly efficient IT ecosystem where resources are pooled together and costs are aligned with what resources are actually used. Then to access services and data from anywhere and anytime. Then to scale the IT ecosystem quickly, easily and cost effectively based upon the evolving business needs. Means as the business grows, the requirement of storage or requirement of the IT system will also grow. Therefore, it wanted to scale. Scale means in order to have the flexibility in the IT ecosystem to quickly, easily and cost effectively to expand itself. Then to consolidate IT infrastructure into more integrated and manageable environment. To reduce the cost related to IT energy power consumption, because now the resources are being utilized, the cost of maintaining it will be a bit less. Then to enable or improve anywhere access for ever increasing users, because of this cloud computing you can access anything, any information at any point of time. Then to enable rapidly provision resources as needed, means the group of unutilized resource can be helpful for providing the resources to the organization as and when they need it. The goals are, let's revise once again, to create a highly efficient IT ecosystem where resources are pooled together and costs are aligned with what resources are actually used, to access services and data from anywhere at any time, to scale the IT ecosystem quickly, easily and cost effectively based upon the evolving business need, to consolidate IT infrastructure into more integrated and manageable environment, to reduce the cost related to IT energy power consumption, to enable or improve anywhere access for ever increasing user, and to enable rapidly provision resources as needed. So these are the goals of the cloud computing. Then one more part we need to understand is cloud computing architecture. Means how is the system is being organized, how this service of cloud computing is being given. So the cloud computing architecture, CCA, it means the structure of a system which comprises on-premise cloud resources, middleware and software component, their location and their externally visible properties and relationship between them. In simple words, it means how the cloud resources are being kept, how they are organized, how what are the physical resources being utilized, and what is the software called middleware, how it is being done. Then what is software component, where they are actually located, can we actually see the services there, and what is the relationship between them. So what is the relationship between the software and the hardware component. So these things are defined in the cloud architecture. So cloud architecture typically involves multiple cloud components communicating with each other over a loose coupling mechanism, such as messaging queue. What happens here? Each component will be communicating with the other so as to get the job done. They all are interlinked, though they are operated with the help of software or middleware. They all are interlinked in a mechanism called as message queuing, such that each one of them can communicate with each other. Then cloud computing architecture consists of front end and a back end. They connect to each other through a network, usually internet, right? So what is the front end architecture? Front end is the side the computer user sees, means what we are seeing on the screen when we want to get a job done, when we want a software to function. What we are going to see is the called as front end, and it interacts through and comprises the client devices. So with the help of the screen, what is available in the screen, we interact with the system and ask for information, right? So that is called the front end, and it comprises what? It comprises the client's device, the system what I am seeing, and then some applications needed for accessing the cloud system, like you must have Chrome or Safari or Firefox to access the internet, sorry, access the different kinds of applications. So this front end architecture is what the user sees and interacts to the system. Then what is backend architecture? What is the backend in the CCA? The backend is the cloud section of the system. Means it is the where the entire it is the cloud with which for which we are discussing this much. So backend is the cloud section of the system, truly facilitating the service. If you want something to happen, you'll go through the you'll put a request in the application and you get the result. So where the questions or the queries are processed is the cloud, right? So the backend is the cloud section of the system, truly facilitating the service. It may encompass various computing machines, data storage systems and servers. So group of these cloud make up the whole cloud computing system. See, cloud computing system is not just one system, it is a mix of various components and different groups of cloud so that they can provide efficient service. So this performs cloud computing architecture. Cloud computing architecture has two parts. One thing is front end and one thing is back end. Then for administrating this entire cloud thing, a central server is maintained so that the entire system can be effectively administered. It also used for monitoring client demand as well as traffic. Means what is the client demand, how is the traffic of data, do we need to expand the system or do we need to reduce the system requirements. Everything is administered with the help of a central server. There are some technicalities and rules which are referred to as protocols to be followed by this server, and it use special type of software called middleware. So the software is always middleware here what is being used, and this server follows some protocols, means some rules and regulations when it's trying to understand the client's demand and the traffic to ensure that everything goes fine. And this middleware allows the computer to be connected on network to communicate with each other, because without having a proper communicating software, these elements can't work together. Therefore middleware plays a very important role. Now in the next video we are going to see types of cloud computing models, in which we will be again seeing the public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud and community cloud. So till that I hope you got some clarity regarding cloud computing. I request you to once open the practice manual and go through the questions, and you can get this PDF with the link in the description box below, and I request you to kindly share this video to your friends so that they can also have a quick revision of chapter number 8. Till then, keep studying and be positive.